He says thank you for listening if they did. Tom? No. Thank you. Thank each and every one of you. You guys are all double plus awesome, and you're a good ending for that round of poetry. And you say, oh, nobody's even mentioned that it's Labor Day weekend. But I think that's actually something to bother to put into a post every time for this. This is one thing that when we ran this as an open mic that was at a physical location, we would get together at Recycled Reads, and they were closed on Labor Day weekend. So we couldn't be here. We wouldn't be running right now if this was at the store. So that's what I always try to say. I'm like, well, we have this now, and it is set through this. Thank you to John F. McMullen, who brought up the concept of AI. And like I was saying, making the joke about, like, I don't like being that involved with stuff and having people tracking me everywhere I go and all of that stuff. But I'm getting, as I was saying, I read news and I'll get these Google things. And they're like, you can do here, if you just download this AI app, you can give your photo and you can look at all these great different versions of a photo you can have of yourself. And I'm like, you know, that looks kind of cool. But there is just no way I'm going to do anything like that. Never. I mean, we're already way too involved with so much technology and stuff anyway. I mean, I think people think that I'm over the top when I do everything I do with the live stream feed and trying to get everything out in as many different ways as I can. And even before I had a smartphone, I had a Tumblr account just so I could be posting up stuff about my open mic in Chicago at the Gallery Cabaret, by the way, Kagan. So I was doing all that even when I didn't even have a smartphone, so I tried to be as tuned in as I could, even if I want to be a Luddite at heart and just hide from the world. So anyway, weird way I'm combining this all back to whatever John was saying and what Tom was saying, and Labor Day weekend, and yay, happiness factory for everybody. So, and I'm sorry that Dan had to leave because he had to go, which makes me sad, but it was nice to hear him read, and I'm glad he did, and thank him for that. But now I'm going to begrudgingly go on to my round 2 poems because I've got stuff set up for you, because for some who may not know, well, maybe one who may not know, I run 2 literary magazines. The first round I read material from CC&D magazine that's been around since '93. Down in the Dirt magazine is the second magazine around. It used to be a section of CC&D, and ran it since 2000, and I think everyone and their brother just loves the name Down in the Dirt so much that they just love the name Down in the Dirt. And so Down in the Dirt magazine is also one that I run, but I happen to really love this title called All the Stories, and it was just a jar of doll parts that I found in some store, and I'm like, there's just something that's morbid about saying all the stories and all these things with the body parts, even though they're just from a doll for the cover. But the cover of Down in the Dirt is all the stories, and it's, I don't know, somewhere in Texas or Oklahoma or something. When I was driving this summer and saw these things, I said, that sounds like a cover for me. So this is all the stories, and I'm going to share with you 3 poems toward the back of this issue. Somebody's soaring score somewhere, not that one, but there are a few pieces that were read in the 2025 Poetry Bomb. Tom Woodruff knows what the Poetry Bomb is. I'm going to explain it because why not? In Chicago, some poets started this idea. You go on the last Sunday of April, 3:30 in the afternoon, wherever there normally isn't poetry, and you just share it. And so I'd be in Chicago and I'd pick a different location each time. And the year before I left, 2015, I was in front of Wrigley Field. And I just did a bunch of baseball-themed poems. And I think, and once in moving to Texas, I went to the graffiti wall at Hope Gallery. Yeah. And then I found out they were going to be closing it. And I'm like, I usually don't go to places twice, but I'm going to go back there again. Tom, come with me, where they'd spray paint artwork all over the walls. And I've had some covers in the past of stuff from Hope Gallery and the graffiti wall. And it was hysterical to hear Tom going on about how evil it is spraying all the paint as he's doing his readings. I'm like, rock on, you're so right, I love you, because that's what this is all about, is saying what you're feeling, and that was perfect. I loved it. But anywho, but it was something that was done every year. And so I'm going to read to you one poem that was actually read then, and I'm not going to show you any sort of artwork that came from that reading. So I'm just going to show you, you're just going to read this poem from this book for me over toward the end of this book, and it is called, Young Dreams from a Potential Legend. I started playing baseball with my friends when I was maybe 7. And then I joined the team at school. You see, I was a pitcher, and because I was tall, I'd throw that ball and batters were stumped. I played in the minor leagues, and I did really well. At one point, I think the major leagues were looking at me like I could have really had a future in baseball. I was doing something I loved, and I was on top of the world. But one year, as I was pitching, that ball, when playing baseball, it was like my shoulder just went out of snap. It just went out on me. It hurt so much that it became next to impossible to play baseball again. I mean, I knew my mom has arthritis. It runs in my family, but I didn't think when I was so young it could affect me so. I was really enjoying what I was able to do, but with a snap of my fingers, I had to stop. It's funny, I played baseball for years as I was growing up, but I think my dad came to my games less than half the time. But I really didn't know if he cared about my playing baseball at all. I mean, he later told me that he really was proud of everything that I did, but I never got that impression from him when I was young. Looking back, all I can think was that when I played baseball, I could have been a legend, and my dad seldom saw my games. That's all. There's my baseball one. There's my baseball one for you. So I try to do things that are not just about, women's issues, but I am going to still break down and do my science stuff because the one guy does this, and it's not the only thing I read, but you guys are going to hear it anyway. So, and this is going to be fun. In the middle of this issue, somebody sent me something for titanium. Titanium. What? And so I wrote 2 poems for it that I'm sharing in this book, and it not only appears in all the stories, which has all sorts of body parts on the cover, but also the Twitterverse periodic table poetry book. And this is a short one, as it fits into a tweet, and it is called Titanium to Spy. So, the USSR held titanium when the US needed it for making SR-71 spy planes in the Cold War to spy on them. So the CIA had a shell company to buy it from the USSR. So the KGB never suspected the US of building spy planes with Soviet titanium. It's my short little one. Yes, I talk about other things in the poems, but it's funny because I did do a Beach Poets feature in, 2019 maybe? And because I think the last 2 times I've done it, there's been a rain problem. The last time I was under an awning at a cafe, and this time I was at a bookstore where I was reading periodic table poems one after another for people, and sharing it on my phone, and because they were all just short enough, I could read them off of my phone. So it appeared there. I read it at the at the 2022. I keep having to show these things at the Poetry Bomb in 2022, which is in front of a brewery. So I don't think Tom was there for the megathon on that one. But this last one I was going to read with you is just for titanium, as I said, is in the middle of this book. It's not only from all the stories, all of them, every single last one, but also the periodic table of poetry. Dun, dun, dun. It's in both of these books, and now I'm going to have to share it with you and you'll get to know more about titanium. This is for titanium. And yes, it was in a show. I guess I'm going to have to share that with you later too, but this is titanium. What I think I like the most about you is how whenever I see you around me, you consume me like a wave of heat on a summer afternoon. Seeing your metal along my flesh teases me, and sweat dances down my hairline and tickles my neck. What I think I like the most about you is the way you always leave me wanting more. The longer I'm out in the sun, the more red my nose and cheeks get, and the more I want to slather you all over me to protect me. What I think I like the most about you is when you say that absence makes a heart grow fonder, because you're like fireworks I only see on special occasions, and with your absence I want you more, so you couldn't be more right. What I think I like the most about you are the things that make me think I have to fight for you, are the things that make you cost just too much. It's true, the market determines your worth to the world, but even if you're always just priceless to me. What I think I like the most about you is the fact that you can lead the way to help me to fly high up in the sky so that I can see any corner of the earth, so that even the universe might be beyond our global vision, but you can also do that for me. What I think I like the most about you is the fact that you seem so common in this world, but you manage to hide yourself in just the right way. But still, you're everywhere, from dental implants to cell phones to engagement rings to jet engines to spaceships. What I think I like the most about you is the wondering about you, is the yearning for you. That's what I like, this high-charged guessing game. You make me work so hard just to find you. You leave me to think about all of the possibilities. Yeah, that's what I like. That's the end of Titanium. And yeah, thank you for the applause. And of course, when I was doing the thing, I had to use my jump photo with every single Titanium thing, but I've done it at readings. Hey, this is at one of the open mics for the place that I can't have my readings at anymore, when we were at Recycled Reads, and I was reading it from books for you there. But those aren't the ones that are as interesting as when I was doing an opening act. There was a gentleman from South Africa who was coming and touring, and so I did a whole show of reading periodic table poems that was set to his music, and so I was even dressed up in a beret and a thing for him for that. In a beret, which I've lost my beret since then. What's up with my beret? I'm so sad. I get so sad. How sad of me to fear this beret that I got from a poet friend of mine in Chicago, and I lost it. I'm like, where did my beret go? Anyway, why am I talking about this silly stuff? But that was your Titanium fix. I'm done with I'm not going to read any more periodic table stuff for you, I promise. But I am going to be thrilled to share the next round with you. I'm hoping that John F. McMullen is ready to read Are You My Darling, because then Lorna would be following him after that. So are you ready, John, to take it away, my darling?